Okay, well, we're at Pearson's Falls and we're looking at some of the animals and plants that live in the water near Pearson's Falls in Colt Creek. This is a segmented worm that we see on the microscope slide. I'll be moving it around just a little bit so we can see this little segmented worm eating plant material. Next to him, we see swimming by a glass-covered algae called a diatom. Behind it is a filamentous algae that makes lots and lots of oxygen for the world. This is Spirogyra, which is the green, slimy material that we see growing on the top of ponds many times. And here is a good section of the segmented worm. You can see the segments, and you can also see, get his head up just a little bit, you can also see the head segment and the food moving down his digestive tract and changing plant material into segmented worm. Now these worms are actually kin to the earthworms that live in our soil and gardens that people go fishing with all the time. And of course these are much smaller, much less than an inch long, and everything here growing in a drop of water. This is another large worm that's segmented. We'll try to find an area where he's not being hidden by the plant material. You can see him moving around. And oh, there went some food. We don't get to see the food moving through our bodies, but it does basically the same thing. Go through that tube and get changed into human being instead of the material that it was before. The hamburger or the lettuce or the tomato, we change into human being when we eat it. Okay. Looking back into this little area, we see a lot of sand grains, and we see some Spirogyra that doesn't look too good. Through here, this is starting to fall apart and decompose as it is returned to nature and can be used by other plants to grow and animals. There's another picture of the segmented worm, the Oligochaete worm. Oh, a good picture there, showing the little hair-like chaetes, which give it its name. Oligochaete means few hairs or few chaetes to move through the water with. Okay, we'll look around for just a moment and put it back in focus. Back that way. Ooh, that's some really pretty Spirogyra there. You can see as we go in and out of focus the spiral arrangements of the chloroplast. That's the little green balls that help it make food. We come back over and we find another worm. He's feeding, and if we notice, here's the digestive tract, and if we watch just a second, maybe we can see some of that material slide down the digestive tract. He's trying to get out of focus. He's trying to leave us. Oh, but we've got something else there. What's the little round? Oh, look at that. Something is round and spiraling through that, and I'm not sure what it is because we haven't seen it yet. Of course, the worm is knocking everything around. He's not interested in the microscope. He's interested in having lunch and wonders why it is so bright out today with that microscope light shining on him. Okay, so we lost our little swirling ball. Back to the worm. We're looking. All right. So looking around again, we'll go exploring and see what else might be out there to look at. There's some sand grains. Just some decomposing plant material there. And lots of little single-cell animals swimming around. Most of them use cilia, or little hairs, to swim. Earlier we saw some that swim by a long whip-like appendage coming out of their head called a flagellum. So the flagellates move with a long whip, the ciliates move with lots and lots of little hairs that they get around. The diatoms move by changing parts of their silicon shell in order to create current, and they move that way. Here are some more diatoms. Oh, look at the big one. He's moving off to the side, going right under the Spirogyra over here. Here's another diatom that's not moving at all. There are some diatom relatives called desmids. This could be one of the desmids that's moving around. Again, a single cell type of algae that's capable of movement as well as the production of food. Is that our worm again? Is that you? Oh, there he is. You can see the tail end, and you can look right through the digestive tract of that worm. So this afternoon he'll be back in Colt Creek here at Pearson's Falls, enjoying life along the riverside. And we thank all of these plants and animals for letting us share a little bit of their life story by looking at them under the microscope. They're there all the time in the water. Different kinds live in different areas of water. Some live where it's moving fast, some live where it's moving slowly. It's just wonderful diversity within one little drop of water. And we'll come back down to the side. Let's go back this way. You have to look and look and look. Part of the adventure is the discovery of new things just by looking around and seeing what the microscope can pick up. And then we'll get back in focus using Spirogyra as a good thing to focus on. We know what it looks like. Going back through the darkness of the soil that was in the sample. And then back this way, trying to get a little bit more light. Microscopes like this don't work without light going through the object. So if the light won't go through, you really can't see much except just the outline. More ciliates swimming by. A lot of decomposing material in this part of the slide. And back to Spirogyra. Here some again is falling apart. The one going this way is not as well structured as the one that we see next to it, which is in a healthier condition. There's an interesting little oval with the diatom moving off to the side of it. Not sure what that is. It could be a small insect wing. It could be some plant material. A lot of times it's just real hard to see and tell what things are. But look at all the commotion. Everybody moving around. More sand grains right in there. There's so many different types of single-cell plants and animals that live in different types of water. You won't expect to see all of them living together, but we do see a good variety in the Pearson's Falls water, especially with diatoms and ciliates and worms. The main type of food-producing plant that we see here in most of these areas is the Spirogyra. And it looks like maybe that's the end of the Spirogyra filament right there. You can see that rounded end here on this side. And they grow by expanding the number of single cells of Spirogyra. Each cell would be about as long as my finger is as far as the size on the TV screen. Of course, in real life, it's smaller than the diameter of a human hair. The small micro world. Okay, a little bit more exploring. And we'll use our Spirogyra again for a focus point. It's coming in. Alright, some little ciliates going around there. Looks like some plant material there, just a little branch coming off. And follow that down and see if we see any activity alongside. That's in a little bit better focus. Okay, if we watch carefully, right here is a little, almost like a dot of light that's moving. And the way that it's moving makes me think that it would be one of the flagellates. It's moving with a long whip. I'm trying to get a little bit more light in there. See if we can see a flagellum moving him around. Might be a little too small. And this camera doesn't work too well on the high power, so we're looking at things 100 times their normal size using the 10 power eyepiece and the 10 power objective on the microscope. 10 times 10 is 100. So that's how much larger it is for us to look at than in real life. Okay, some little ciliates swimming around there on the surface of that plant material. Not hard to say what it is. You can see them swimming. And then back over here, we'll look one more time past the Spirogyra. See if there's anybody else that we really want to focus on. Sure, I'm sorry we missed that large basketball looking moving creature. But he disappeared and we haven't seen him again. That happens. That's why you have to look many times to see exactly what you want to see in the microscope. They can get out of your vision pretty fast. It means you have to go back and find another place to focus. There's one right there. Let's focus on that for a moment, using Spirogyra to help us. And focusing in. Something's moving the plant material along. It could be just a little bit of water movement as it gets washed under the slide. We're looking at a drop of water that's on a glass slide and then another tiny glass slide on top called a cover slide, and that pushes everything out more or less in a flat plane to make it easier to focus. Oh, look at those hairs on that worm. You can see them right here. Those are the chaetes that move this worm through the water. They stick out in little groups. And again, look at the movement inside the worm where the food is moving. And there's his head over to the left-hand side. See if we can get the head in the center. All right, pretty good picture of the head where he's eating that plant material. It's about time to return all of these wonderful plants and animals to Colt Creek here at Pearson's Falls, and tell everyone that we really appreciate your coming. Say bye to all the diatoms and the ciliates and the Spirogyra and the worms. And oh, here comes one that might be another diatom or desmid just swimming right by, making its way across the slide. And with that, we'll tell everyone so long. I appreciate you looking in today. Thanks.